Good evening, everyone. The Irish Hammer here with you, along with Joshyboy. We are going to take a little peek into week one, the official first week of the college football season for 2025. And a massive slate of games. I say massive, there's always this many games. It's just we've got a lot more viewing options for them this season. So we'll start off with Thursday slate. I'm going to throw one out there, and then I will let Josh handle his business. Kind of my play of the night on this one is going to be the Buffalo and Minnesota game. Now, I know it's weird because we've got a MAC team versus a wannabe Big Ten team, but I really like Buffalo in this one. They're getting 18.5 points, and Minnesota lost just an absolute ton of talent on offense. And Buffalo likes to play at a very methodical pace. They like to slow down, run the ball, eat clock. I just don't think Minnesota, one, has enough firepower to run the score up, and two, I don't think they're going to get enough possessions to do that. So I love this line, Buffalo plus 18.5 against Minnesota. Josh, good evening, sir. What do you have for
Good
us?
evening. Well, I look at this game hammer between Buffalo and Minnesota, and you're right. Buffalo likes to go at a slow, methodical pace. So does Minnesota. But I think that is too many points for Minnesota to be laying between two teams that like to play at a slow pace. And I don't know if I'm going to get to the counter with this, but I may end up playing Buffalo plus the 18.5 points. And Buffalo, they're one of the MAC favorites this year. They could win the conference.
Yeah, this team isn't a pushover by any means. And again, Minnesota lost a bunch off the offensive side of the ball. I think like 3 offensive linemen, wide receiver or 2. So, and I'm just not sold on PJ Fleck anyway. So I just like Buffalo here. It's just too many points for opening week.
And if you're a team like Minnesota that's playing 18.5, you don't want to be playing at a really slow pace to cover a big spread. You want to play up tempo, fast like Tennessee does.
Yeah, and especially with kind of the running clock now in college, it doesn't stop till that the 2-minute warning. So
Right.
just get a first down and stop the clock. Those days are gone. So that
Yeah.
luxury doesn't exist, and I just don't see it.
I don't know the name of Buffalo's running back, but I know he is a pretty good running back. Kid's a stud.
I think I probably had that somewhere handy, knowing what I was diving into this game. Let me just look real quick to see if I
Okay.
can put my finger on it. This is where I need to hire like a singer or something to entertain folks while.
AJ Henderson is his name.
There you go.
AJ Henderson.
Yeah, I
AJ
was just hung up on Taquan Robertson, their quarterback, and I couldn't pull his name. So, but anyway, yeah. I just think there's just too many points, and I'm just not sold on Minnesota's offense.
So, Hammer, what do you think about Minnesota this year in the Big Ten? You think they're going to kind of be like a middle of the pack team, or do you think they'll be like bottom tier of the conference?
I think 6 wins is probably their ceiling, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let me see what they're – because I don't even – yeah, 6.5. and they're actually juiced to the over -164 at 6.5.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know if I believe that. So
Yeah. I think it's
six,
going to be
maybe
a down
seven.
here for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They just lost too much. They lost
Right.
too many players, and I just don't see them being a factor at all in
I
the Big
agree.
Ten. So another game on Thursday night that I think is too many points, and that's Ohio versus Rutgers. I'm taking Ohio at 14.5 for two reasons. Parker Navarro, Ohio's quarterback. That kid's pretty solid. And I know this isn't the Rutgers of old, the punching bag of the Northeast, kind of the Northeast and the Big Ten's Vanderbilt, where everybody beats them. But 2 touchdowns opening week against a veteran quarterback, nah, not with that team. So I really like Ohio and the points. And another game that I like the points is East Carolina versus North Carolina State. Now, we heard how great North Carolina State was going to be last year until they got mollywopped in the opener by Tennessee. I'll be honest, man, I just think North Carolina State's terrible. I think Doran's hugely overrated, and this team didn't do anything to better itself in the offseason. And I trust East Carolina's offense much more than I trust North Carolina State's defense. So North Carolina State, they should be favored over anybody until they win some games. So I think East Carolina plus the 14, because that offense is pretty good. And I don't think NC State's going to be able to stop it. So we do have 2 games Thursday night that are somewhat marquee matchups. We've got Boise going down to Tampa to take on Alex Golish and the South Florida Bulls. And then we get our first look at Matt Rule in year 3, which historically has been his magical year, right? At his other stops, year 3 is where he's kind of turned it on and got things rolling. Well, they have to play Cincinnati on Thursday night, and that's not going to be a pushover game by any stretch. So any thoughts on either of those 2 games, Josh, either Boise versus South Florida or Nebraska versus Cincinnati?
Yeah, I want to talk about the USF and Boise State game first.
Okay.
I have a big play in this game, and I'll get to it in a minute. I kind of like both teams going into this game, but I like USF more. After Boise State was an Ashton Jenney, giving them a lot of production last season, even being a Heisman candidate last year. And Maddox Madsen, he's a really good quarterback for Boise. I do think Boise's defense is going to regress this year. I don't think it will be as good as last year's defense. And I like USF a lot this season. Their quarterback, Byron Brown, kid's a stud. I think he's going to do special things this season. And former VFL Chaz Nimrod plays for USF.
That's right.
Yeah. And they got a stud running back in Catavrius Norton. That guy's really good. But my big play hammer, I laid the hammer on this one. I like USF catching the 5.5 tomorrow against Boise.
Well, I'm going to see your 5.5. I got it at 6.5 before it moved. And I also took under 63.5. Reason being, weather in South Florida is not going to be very pretty. It's going to be raining all the way up to and possibly into game time. I don't see 63.5 points happening in this game because Boise's got to learn how to play football without Ashton Jenney now.
Right.
And that's not to say Boise's not going to be any good. I'm not saying that at all, because Boise's the only team that has minus odds to win their conference out of all 10 conferences that we're given odds on. They're the only one at minus money. So they probably absolutely will continue to run through the Mountain West, and more than likely are going to be in the playoff again, but it's not going to look like it did last year. Right, Josh?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
How much with the running game this year do you think they might regress this season, Boise?
Well, they certainly don't have an Ashton Genty back there. So not to say they, can't still be effective running the football, but I just don't see any way they reproduce the numbers from what Genty gave them. It's kind of like, not to jump ahead too much, but it's kind of like Saquon Barkley. I just don't see Philadelphia replicating those numbers. I don't see Barkley having that many carries. I don't see Barkley having that many touches. It was a magical season for both those guys last year.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult to repeat. So especially, Genty's gone, so he's not going to do it. And I just don't see another Ashton Genty on that roster. So
I don't either.
And I think it may, just like, every other week one game, usually the defense is a little bit ahead of the offense.
Yeah.
And it takes some time to get things rolling. And that's why I think the weather plays such a part in this, because it's going to do two things. One, it's going to force more run game.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause the clock to turn. So I'm hammering this game right along with you, but I'm dropping it on the under at 63 and a half. I just don't see it getting there. But I do like USF to cover. I got it at a touchdown, 5.5. I'd still feel comfortable. I think this might be a 3-4 point game.
Do you think USF could win this game outright tomorrow? Maybe?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do, because we know what kind of coach Alex Golesh is, right?
Yeah.
Got a great quarterback. We know they'll be disciplined. We know they'll play, good defense. And, let's be honest, this game, if weather plays a factor, then, of course, luck, turnovers, things like that are going to play a part. So give me the home team in that kind of situation. So I absolutely think that South Florida could win this game outright. So there's a little sprinkle of, plus money on money line. It's not a bad play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. So what do we have, or what are your thoughts? You may not have an official play on that, and that's fine. But what are your thoughts on the Nebraska-Cincinnati game?
Yeah,
it's a neutral site game. They're playing this game in Arrowhead.
In Arrowhead. Yeah.
Right.
Going into the season, everybody is big on Nebraska this year. A lot of people like them to go over their win total at 7.5. I think it is, right?
It is 7.5. Yeah, I played it.
Dylan Raiola coming back in his sophomore season, and a lot of Dana Holgerson is their OC this year. That was a big hire too.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Nebraska's defense this year. I think they're going to take a step back a little bit. And looking at Cincinnati, if you have not watched Brandon Sorsby at quarterback, the kid is so much fun to watch. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I think it's going to be a shootout, to be honest. But if I am going to make a play in this game, I like Cincinnati catching the 6.5.
Same. I like Cincinnati to cover this game. I think this may be another one of those that they could jump up and get them. I'm not betting it, but this is another upset alert for me, because neutral site. Cincinnati brought in a lot of transfers on defense, so they were terrible 2 years ago. They weren't great last year. I think they're going to be at least respectable this year on defense. And I am just not sold on Dylan Raiola at all. I have a lot more confidence in Matt Rule as a coach than I do Dylan Raiola as a quarterback. So because he just doesn't – he throws for a lot of yards, and he's out there trying to be Patrick Mahomes mini-me no matter what he says. But the kid just – he doesn't make a lot of – he doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
He doesn't make a lot of impactful plays. He makes a lot of shiny plays.
Yep.
You know, he's got a lot of flash and pizzazz,
He does.
but there's for me, man, there's just not that much meat on the bone. And he may ball out and prove me to be an idiot, and that's fine, but that doesn't take much. But I'm just not drinking the Kool-Aid on it.
I agree. But Hammer, there's 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and betting on Nebraska to cover a football game. But
I agree.
I am looking at another play. I wouldn't mind playing it. I like Cincinnati over their team total over 22.5. I think they can get that tomorrow.
I don't disagree because the total I think is 54. If I
let's see, I'm seeing 51.5.
Oh, so it's dropped.
Yeah.
I didn't play it. I wish I would have because I know you said you like an over and a shootout. I'm kind of leaning towards an under in this game.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right there it is, 51
yep.
and a half. It was 54 when it opened.
Wow, it's been bet down.
And now I'm kicking myself for not taking it then. So we'll see. Because this one could go one of 2 ways. It could be a struggle on both sides of the ball. Cincinnati's defense has improved enough, and week 1 offenses may not necessarily be clicking. Who knows? I'll say it may be a blessing in disguise that I didn't bet under 54. But yeah, so I am aligned. I believe Cincinnati is the team with the points in that one. So that's all I've got for Thursday. Anything else on Thursday's slate that you like?
Were you saying, did you have anything in that NC State East Carolina game?
Oh, yeah, East Carolina plus 14 or whatever it is now.
I played it last month. I think I got 12.5 or 13.5, I think, with East Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, I think –
go ahead.
Let me see. No, I was just going to say I got it at 14, but I'm going to zip through here and see if I can find it again. There's a lot of games tomorrow night.
Yeah, there is.
13.5 now is the line at FanDuel. So
yeah,
still it's going to take 2 touchdowns to beat them, and I don't think NC State they don't have the horses.
No.
I like East Carolina in that one.
Yeah, I do too. We can move on to Friday. I don't have anything else in Thursday's games.
All right. So Friday, I've got 3 games that I like, and 2 of them are just because the line is absurd. It is week 1 in college football, and we've got Western Illinois and Illinois. The line in this game is 45.5. What is wrong with you people out there in Vegas? 45.5 points. Look, Illinois could win this game by 70 points if they wanted to. Even though they lost a good bit to the NFL last year, they can still beat Western Illinois like a redheaded stepchild. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think they want – because this team is top 15 ranked right now. Brett Bielema's got this team where he wants them. And they're not going to win the Big Ten, let's be honest. But there's still playoff aspirations on the table for Illinois. I don't think it's totally out of the question. But they're not going to go out there and put their full offense on display for the whole world to see against Western Illinois. So they're going to score enough in the first half, then they're going to just hand the reins to the defense and just grind the clock down. There's no way they win this game by 46 points. It ain't happening.
And plus, they got a big game at Duke the next week as well.
Exactly. It's the days of playing cupcake, first conference game at home and not play a conference game on the road till the middle of October. Those days are gone. So I just don't see Illinois coming out there and giving a whole lot to anybody week one. They're going to come out there, they're going to handle their business, and they're going to pack it up and move to the next week. So give me Western plus 45.5. The next absurd line, Wagner versus Kansas. This line is 46.5. This is a tune-up game. They had a little bit of, I won't say a scare, but they were in kind of a dogfight there last week for a little bit against Fresno State. They're not going to beat Wagner by 46.5. And the reason they're not going to beat them by 46.5 is Lance Leipold could care less about covering spreads. This guy's about winning football games. This guy's about putting his team in a position to compete in their conference and to find a way into the college football playoff. He could care less about hanging 50 points against Wagner. He doesn't want anybody getting hurt, and he wants to handle this bit, kind of like Illinois and beat them up. They just want to go out there, beat the snot out of them for 2 or 3 quarters, let their defense finish it off, and leave without anybody hurt. So they're not trying to put on a fireworks show. So
and plus they got a big game at Missouri the next week as well.
At Missouri.
Kansas.
At Missouri. That's right. They hate them. I've dealt with enough Kansas fans online to know that we may not see things eye to eye in the basketball world, but what Tennessee and Kansas fans can agree on is that we both hate the abomination that is Columbia, Missouri. So this game means nothing. It's a freebie. It'll be a tune-up game. You'll probably get to see a lot of guys off the bench, a lot of underclassmen. There's no way there's no way they even care if they win this game by 47 points. And lastly, on Friday, we have Georgia Tech and Colorado. Georgia Tech's favored in the game, -4. I think Georgia Tech beats them by double digits. They'll beat them by 2 scores because Colorado has lost all of their shine and stars, and I don't think Dion is as motivated with his boys gone. And Georgia Tech's got a pretty good football team. So I think Georgia Tech easily covers -4. This one could be closer to 10. So any thoughts on any of those, Josh, or you want ready to move to Saturday?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Georgia Tech Colorado game. I see 4.5 on my end, and I do agree with you. I think Georgia Tech beats Colorado by double digits. Just like you said, Colorado lost their shiny toys with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. I think it's going to be a pretty bad season for Colorado.
Yeah, I think the fans out there, or wherever they are, because they didn't go to the games till Dion showed up. So
yeah,
I don't know, but they're in for a rude awakening this season. This could be a 4 or 5 win football team. I wanted to say 3 so bad, but I'm not going to. Six games, a 500 record this season is going to be very difficult.
I agree with that.
So, all right.
In a couple more Friday games, I like Hammer. I'm looking at this line. Auburn traveling to Baylor. Auburn laying 2.5 at Waco. I think this line should be Baylor -2 or Baylor -3. With Auburn's quarterback situation, Reverend Hugh Freeze came out and said, we might play 3 quarterbacks in this game. 3 quarterbacks? If Auburn has a quarterback problem, I think Baylor has the better team here, and I like Baylor on the money line plus 114
I
against
don't hate
Auburn.
it at all.
Thoughts?
I don't hate it at all. In fact, I saw that line and kind of raised my eyebrows because we just kind of unearthed, and I don't know how I missed it, that Auburn win total was 7.5 for this year, and I immediately jumped on the under on that, and I kind of agree. I didn't list that as an official play, but I'm with you. I think the wrong team's favored in that game, and it may be a field goal game. It very well could come down to that, but I'm not sold on Auburn's um, team as a whole, but especially to your point. I mean, if you've got a quarterback problem, you've got a problem.
Right.
And
And oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and that doesn't bode well for playing a team with the pedigree of Baylor. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. I don't see if Auburn wins that game, it'll be one of those miracles they pull out of their ass um,
Yeah.
in the last seconds. So I agree with you.
In another game I locked in, I put it in a few days ago. I like the over in UNLV and Sam Houston State Friday night. Got it at 60.5. It's up to 61.5. We saw these teams last Saturday in week 0 put up a lot of points against Idaho State, which UNLV did. Sam Houston scored some points against Western Kentucky. I think this game's going to be a shootout, so I played over 60.5 between UNLV and Sam Houston.
That's a great play because you're right. We kind of got a glimpse at those two this past weekend, and Sam Houston had a little trouble getting started, and obviously their defense isn't quite to the caliber that it was last year. So yeah, I think that's a great play, and obviously the market's reacted, and it's gone up. So that's I'm jotting that one down. I may take a pretty healthy look at that myself. So
Yeah, I put the hammer down on this one. I
oh
hammered
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you said it's 61.5 now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, so a 34-30, that's very feasible.
Yeah.
So that would get it there. Cool. All right, I
And
like it. I
and
think you talked me into it.
one thing I want to add before we move on to the Saturday games, I'm a little
Sure.
surprised that UNLV didn't run the ball as much as they did pass it because that running back they had, he was pretty good Saturday for UNLV.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I want I can't tell you honestly that struck me during the game, but I did think um, they're really either they were working on things in the past game or there was something that they just didn't feel like they could run the football as much. Maybe I don't know. It was interesting, but I agree. Um, I didn't really know what to expect from Dan Mullen, especially with their quarterback situation. But it proved to be, I'll say, I think the offense went about as well as it could have, trying to play two quarterbacks. Because Calandria actually ended up rushing the football just as much, I think, as Orgy did, right?
Yeah,
And he looked good, man, running the
he
football.
did.
So I'm thinking, well, this kid can throw. So do we really need two quarterbacks?
Right.
Maybe. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see what they do going forward. And I know they
Same.
had special plays designed for Orgy in that game, but I I don't know. From me,
Yeah.
outside looking in, Calandry is clearly the better quarterback.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
I think Orgy's got some. He's definitely got some development to go through in the passing game. Um, so I don't know. I just think if UNLV is going to legitimately challenge Boise, and they're at plus 700. They're the next best bet or next shortest odds. I wouldn't bet on anybody but Boise. But
Yeah.
I think if they're going to do it, Calandria's got to be the guy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think they can go out there with Orgy and expect to contend for the conference. So
Right.
So cool. Good stuff. All right. What about Saturday?
Ready for a full day of college football Saturday, man.
Man, you're not kidding. And we get to start it off right, which we'll get to that later. I'm going to throw a game out there on Saturday. File this one in the also too many points department, but it's not as crazy as some of the other absurd lines that we've got out there. I'm going to throw one out there that's probably not on anybody's radar, and that's South Dakota against Iowa State. This line is 15.5. Little tidbit on South Dakota. They're the number 5 ranked FCS team. So this isn't a directional school somewhere in Louisiana. This is a legit big boy in FCS. And I don't know if anybody's paid attention to Iowa State's schedule. Probably not. But they're looking ahead to next week because they get little brother in Iowa. So I think this is a sleeper for Iowa State. I don't think they're as focused on this game as they probably should be. And I'm sure there's a lot of coach speak out there about how good this team is and, all this stuff. And we're preparing for them just like we would anybody else. I don't believe it. I think game plan for Iowa's probably already been introduced. I think South Dakota catches them on their heels a little bit, and I think they can keep this game within 16 points. So I like South Dakota plus 15.5 against Iowa State.
Yeah, I really like that play, Hammer. For some reason, I'm not seeing it on my book on DraftKings right now.
Oh, take a look and see where they stashed it over on FanDuel.
I wonder.
It's 16.5 now.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
What time? What time does that game kick off Saturday?
That's a 3:30 East kick.
Yeah, I'm looking on draft. I guess DraftKings doesn't have it listed yet.
They may not.
Probably not until game day.
Could be. It may not be a big enough game on their board. FanDuel's got it plus 16.5, and it is 47.5.
Yeah. If DraftKings, if they have odds up on game day, I might play South Dakota.
Yeah, especially now, 16.5. I got it at 15.5.
Yeah.
So that I smell a South Dakota, Wagner, Western Illinois, Buffalo, Ohio, East Carolina teaser in my future.
I like it.
Give me all them dogs. Let them bark.
Yes.
All right, what else you got for Saturday?
Haven't officially locked anything in. Well, I'll take that back. I put 2 games in, but we'll get to that later because they're the 2 big games. But I'm looking at the spread with Florida State and Alabama. I'm seeing first half line Alabama minus 7.5.
Oh.
I kind of like Florida State catching the 7.5 in the first half, minus 125. I think Florida State, what'd they win? 1 game last season?
It was ugly. That's all I know.
Yeah, I think Florida State can play with Alabama in the first half and cover that 7.5. That might be something I'm looking to play Saturday. And for the other game I'm looking at, Hammer, I know it's ugly, but I like Purdue laying 17.5 against Ball State. Yeah. Both teams, pretty bad programs, but I think Purdue is going to cover the 17.5 against a pretty bad Ball State team.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
The day that any Big Ten team gets blown out by a MAC team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Holy cow! So, I mean, it would not hurt my feelings in the least if Ball State beat them by 50.
Yeah.
But that seems a little heavy. I made a little note there. I will dive into that game a little bit. I know Purdue's terrible, and I'm sure Ball State's probably not very good this season either, or any season.
And another game, I just locked it in. I'm looking at the first half spread between Marshall and Georgia.
Yeah,
I laid it with Georgia minus 24.5. I think Georgia
yeah,
dominates first half, and I think Kirby kind of slows the game down second half, and I think Marshall covers the full game. That's why I played Georgia first half minus 24.5.
yeah. I think that's the right play. I think Georgia takes off quick. There's a lot of, and I've talked about this with a lot of people. So there's a lot of question marks at quarterback, especially in the SEC this year. And I mean, really all over college football, because the transfer portal has just introduced free agency, basically, and mercenary for hire. So there's a lot of question marks around some of these offenses. Going back to when you were talking about Alabama, Florida State, I mean, we don't know what we're getting with Ty Simpson. We don't know what we're getting with Gunnar Stockton, a kid that obviously is talented, but I mean, you go back to his high school days, he was played at those like 1 or 2A school, like a teeny tiny high school. For that matter, we don't know what we're getting out of Arch Manning. We saw him run the ball last year, but we haven't seen him line up and sling it. So, I mean, there's too many question marks. And, week ones are always tough because we have no feel whatsoever for what any of these offenses are going to want to try to do. It's just hard to back heavy favorites in a full game week one. And I think even more so this year with just the sheer number of new faces we're seeing, not only at quarterback, but just, on the offensive side of the ball in general. But so many quarterbacks in the SEC so many teams in the SEC with new quarterbacks. It's really hard to back some of these big favorites. And so I'm with you. I don't disagree. In fact, I've seen a handful of experts out there taking Marshall to cover the game. And I ain't touching that.
Right.
But you can't help but wonder what's Georgia's offense really going to look like. We know what their defense is going to look like.
Yeah.
But offensively, I mean, we really don't know. So, not a bad play at all. I feel like Georgia can put 3 touchdowns and a couple field goals up on Marshall in the first half. And probably make life miserable for their quarterback. So, all right. So, what else you got for Saturday?
You got any plays for the big game Saturday?
I'm not ready, and I know it's a cop out, and I'm sorry, but I will address it at some point between now and kickoff. Right. I don't have anything on Texas, Ohio State yet because I'm literally – this is one of those I could talk myself into or out of anything in this game. I'm not even going to give a lean in this one yet. I'm that torn in what I think we're going to see.
Well, I kind of got a lean hammer. I'm looking at both teams, both new quarterbacks coming in with Arch Manning, Julian Sayin. I think both defenses are going to kind of shine in the first half. So that's why I played the first half under 23 and a half. I kind of think both teams are going to fill each other out. Then I think second half is kind of going to be where both quarterbacks shine. So I kind of lean first half under 23 and a half between Texas and Ohio State.
And I think that might be the safest play on this game because there's two things we know for certain. We've got two quarterbacks that are taking their first snaps as starters for their teams, and we know both of these defenses are extremely talented. And Texas arguably has the best front seven in college football, and I definitely say arguably because I think there's another front seven that's going to be in that conversation by the
Yep.
time we reach season's end. So I mean, honestly, man, that's a really good way to attack that game because again, we go back to all these question marks. We don't know what it's really going to look like, and I think both those coaches are seasoned enough and been in those big spots that they're not going to do anything risky. They're not going to do anything, to jeopardize their position in the matchup. So, yeah, that's probably as safe of a bet that I've heard anybody make on this game so far. I'm certainly not ready to give a prediction on the side.
Right.
If I had to give you anything right now, it would be a lean towards the under.
Yeah.
Total game under.
I might wait till kickoff and see if I can find a really cheap Ohio State money line ticket.
One thing I like to do a lot is I like to wait till kickoff,
Yeah.
let about 5 minutes or each team get a possession or a couple possessions in, and then I'll jump in and bet it live. So
Yeah. That's a good idea.
that may be actually what I end up doing. I don't know that I'm sold enough on either side to take it. I don't know if I believe enough in the defenses to keep the game under. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm really hung up on that one. I've
I
got
am too.
a little pick'em contest that I'm running through the podcast, and I have changed that pick 3 times.
Wow.
So I don't know. That one still got me. I'll come up with something before the
Yeah.
kickoff.
What about the other
See
two
that.
big games between LSU, Clemson, and Bama and Florida State? Do you like anything in those?
Um, I like Bama. I think more so because of what I think their defense is going to be versus what Ty Simpson brings. And to a large degree, Bama's not terribly that much different than Tennessee this year with a new quarterback, a healthy stable of running backs, and we're told this is one of the better Alabama defenses that we've seen in a while. So jury's out on that. But if all those things hold true, and I'm just not after the absolute falling apart that Florida State's gone through under Norvell, I can't back Florida State, man.
Yeah.
I just can't. And I don't think Bama can be worse than they were last year. And it's crazy to say that about Alabama, but
Right.
that's one of their worst seasons in a very long time.
Yeah.
So I just kind of feel like that's Alabama's game. As far as LSU and Clemson goes, I can't back LSU on this one.
Yeah.
I feel like Clemson's defense is very legit. I'm not a fan of the kid, but you can't deny Klubnik his talent, his development over his time there.
Right.
And it's more about Brian Kelly, man, than it is about Nussmeier or LSU. It's about Brian Kelly. I think he's going to get
Sure.
out coached. And you're talking what, a field goal game?
Yeah.
Give me the home team. Give me the better quarterback. Give me the better head coach.
Yeah, I'm seeing 3.5 Clemson on my end right now.
That hook scares me because I think it could
Yeah.
come down to a field goal. So that might be one I have to tease or buy a point on or something. Clemson -2.5. I jump on it. That
Right.
I don't like the hook. Not on that one. I think it could come down to a field goal, or Clemson just absolutely blows their ass out. That's the two
Yeah.
scenarios I see. I just don't see a scenario where LSU wins this game.
Because that Clemson defense, they're pretty good.
It is, man. This is going to be a pretty elite group.
Yeah.
I don't really see anybody giving Clemson a run in the ACC. I bet a flyer team, but I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody topping Clemson in that conference.
Right. Do you
So
have you placed anything in the Tennessee and Syracuse game yet?
I have.
Yeah.
I got one more though, or excuse me, I have two more before I get to that.
Okay.
So if you're ready to talk Tennessee Syracuse, let me go ahead and throw these two in there.
Yeah, go ahead, throw those
All
two.
right. So the first one is going to be Utah and UCLA.
Yep.
Utah is a 5.5 point favorite. The total is 52.5. And Utah is going to march into Westwood and put belt to ass on Nico. I'm going to leave you. And that game's staying under.
I like it.
Utah -5.5, under 52.5 points.
Did you put the hammer on this one, or is this just a regular
I didn't
play?
hammer it.
Gotcha.
I do my absolute best to leave emotion out of my bets. I could
Yeah.
not let the emotion take control. So
Right.
modest play on this one.
I laid it
Normal
with
play on this one.
I laid it with Utah last month when I was at the casino. I got 6.5, and I see it's down to five and
Nice.
a half right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Now UCLA, or excuse me, Utah wins this one big.
I
Not
think they
big. I'm
win.
sorry, not big.
All
They
right.
cover
Yeah.
5.5, 6.5, doesn't matter.
I'd
They'll
say
beat them
they
by a
win
touchdown.
this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Woo! I think two scores is definitely in the cards, but I like where your head is. Love it. The other
Yep.
game that I like, and I'm going to try to snip this out of this live. So, the other game that I see on Saturday that I'm very intrigued by is Toledo coming to Lexington. They're going to cash in their 4 times fuel points. 9.5 is the total, or excuse me, is the spread in favor of Kentucky. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying that Mark Stoops is locked in. I'm not buying the big blue wall or any of that other propaganda crap that's coming out of Lexington, Kentucky. Give me Toledo to cover 9.5. Give me Toledo to win the game outright. Kentucky sucks. Mark
Wow.
Stoops is gone. Toledo, favored in the MAC, upsets Kentucky Saturday. Book it.
I love it. I played Toledo last month at +10. I like it at 9.5, and keep the points at home. I like Toledo to win outright, like you do, Hammer.
This quarterback because how many quarterback saviors are going to come to Lexington, crap down both legs, and limp off as a loser? We've seen it time after time after time. This Joker's no different. Mark Stoops is
Yep.
still your coach. You still suck, Kentucky. It ain't happening. Toledo. So now we'll shift to the true marquee game. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you think Stoops could maybe get fired this season, Hammer?
Yes. This is it. Stoops is gone after this season. If they can scrape up enough money, sell enough horses and bourbon off and meth to buy him out, I think he's gone. I don't think they can. I don't think they can wait another year. I think if they're going to be serious about football, they have to make the move this year.
Yeah.
Unless he wins 9 or 10 games, he's got to be gone. And they ain't winning 9 or 10 games.
Right.
They'll be lucky to win 4.
That's kind of what I predicted them to finish this season. When I did the record prediction, I predicted them to finish 4-8 this season.
I got them at 4-8 also.
Yeah.
Yep. Under their win total. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, they got guys out here holding hands, jumping in the air, dancing around.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even focused on football.
Not serious about football. No.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to be saying, well, at least we got basketball a lot earlier this season than they have in seasons past. This season is going to go off the rails very quickly for Kentucky.
And before we get to Tennessee, two other games I did play. I like the over in Coastal versus Virginia, over 57.5. In the other game, I like Michigan laying -35 against the New Mexico Lobos.
Woo! That's a lot of number.
I know that's a big number, Hammer, but I laid it with Michigan -35.
Okay. Hey. They should.
Yeah, they should cover.
They should win that game by 5 or 6 touchdowns. I mean, let's be honest.
Right.
A lot of activities swirling around the program there, but I mean, it hadn't really affected anybody there, right? I mean, we didn't strip scholarships or anything. We didn't take away national championships or any other awards or anything like that. I mean, a little slap on the wrist to the guys that are no longer there. They ain't never coming back. And a $20 million fine. I mean, Ward Manuel probably walks around with that hanging out of his pocket. So, whoopee, right? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and quite frankly, Michigan has got to be at a point now where they're just relieved that all this crap's over with and they can focus on playing football. So, no reason that Michigan shouldn't just absolutely, beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I mean, there's a lot more lines out there bigger than that people are betting on, and I just shake my head like, good God almighty, that's just too many points all the way around. But Michigan should win that game easily. I mean, that game should be 45-49-3, right?
Right.
So I don't hate it, man. That's good for you. I hope it cashes.
Thanks.
What else you got?
I'm ready to move on to Tennessee versus Syracuse.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you open up on that one because I did a whole podcast episode on this game, so I got plenty to say. I'm going to let you have your time and the floor.
Could you talk a little bit? I need to look up something. I found an interesting stat in this game. 1 second.
Cool. Take your time.
Okay.
So while Josh is looking that up, I'll tell you a little story. Syracuse sucks. They play in a glorified snow globe up there in southeast Canada. Their mascot's a fruit, for God's sake. And their claim to fame in this world is the little thing that you go to the shoe store and put your foot in to measure to see what size it is. Yeah, some joker from Syracuse invented that. And they're also known as the Salt City, which high blood pressure is an enemy of mine. So now I really hate them Fran Brown's a good coach. I like Fran. I think he'll do fine there. But it won't be week one. Now, you Syracuse people have been on here running your mouths about how great this team is and all these transfers and Fran. Well, I don't know if you watched any football in the Josh Heupel era for Tennessee. But his entire offense is predicated around the running game. Yeah, Hendon Hooker put up some dazzling numbers, and that offense goes fast. But there's two things, Syracuse fan, that you are seriously undervaluing. One is our running back room, our ability to run the football. And two, this is a very elite defense that you're going to be facing on Saturday. Steve Angeli wasn't good enough to beat anybody out at Notre Dame to start. He barely beat out the kid from LSU that transferred in. He's going to get introduced to Joshua Josephs and Tyree West early and often. You guys are in some serious trouble come Saturday. And I know this game is 13 and a half, 14 and a half, depends on where you're shopping. I don't think this line is telling the whole story. Josh, take it away.
I'm back, Hammer. Yeah. Looking at this game, Syracuse returning only 6 on the defense back, 2 on the offense, losing their quarterback, Kyle McCord. Steve Angeli steps in, really no experience, versus Joey Aguilar, who has more experience than Steve Angeli, started 2 seasons at App State. The kid is a gunslinger. He throws touchdowns, but sometimes he makes bad decisions, throws interceptions. But I trust Joey Aguilar more than Steve Angeli. And like you were saying, Hammer, this Tennessee defense with Joshua Josephs, Dominic Bailey, Jackson Moy is going to be all up in Steve Angeli's grill all game. Defense is going to dominate this game. I got the Vols winning 31-10 in this game, covering the spread. And another stat I'm looking at right now, this is by Lock and Cash Sports Betting on Twitter. Neutral favorites that made the playoffs in the previous season have been free. 25-15 against the spread, 62.5%. And he has Tennessee minus 14 in the spot right here.
Steve Angeli has 1 career start. 1. This front 7 is going to wreak havoc on your offense. And that defense that Josh just talked about that has 6 returning starters, yeah, I know you guys got a bunch of transfers. Congrats. But you also gave up 150 yards a game rushing last year, and that was to ACC opponents. This 3-headed running back monster that Tennessee has, plus, a slew of upperclassmen transfers and one of the best, if not the top-rated tackle out of this year's class, to escort them down the field. A lot of people make a lot of noise about Tennessee's not going to be any good because Nico left and you had to settle for the kid that he took the job from at UCLA. Well, let me tell you something about this kid where he settled for. 2-year starter at App State, one of the highest yards per pass quarterbacks during that time. Yeah, he threw some interceptions, but he also didn't have Josh Heupel this offense, this supporting cast, this offensive line around him. You elevate the coaching, you elevate the talent around him, you elevate the playmakers, makes a huge difference. You're not going to see 15, 17, 19 interceptions out of Joey Aguilar this year. Bet on that. Heupel's offense is very quarterback friendly. He won't be in a position that he'll have to throw 15 interceptions. Our offense is predicated on the run game. Joey will make enough plays with his arm and legs because he ain't scared to run, and he damn sure won't run out of bounds on fourth down. Syracuse, you got no shot in this game. You bleed yards on offense. Your secondary is questionable, very questionable. And you got a 19th-year senior who's going to be eligible for NFL pension before he gets to the league, making his second career start against one of the premier defenses in the SEC. To quote a friend of mine, Syracuse, you're screwed. And just to put the cherry on top of it, Al Wilson is the honorary captain for the Vols Saturday. That means he'll go into that locker room before the game, and he'll do what Al Wilson does. He'll make people want to run into a running buzzsaw because the dude can motivate the dead. Syracuse, you don't have a chance in this game. We'll play it because it's on the schedule and contractually obligated to be there, but y'all might as well not even get off the bus. It's going to be what we refer to back in my part of the country as an East Tennessee dog whooping. Means we're going to stomp a mud hole in your ass and walk it dry. Give me Tennessee by 1,000,000 in this game.
I like it. So, Hammer, my question for you is, I necessarily don't do it all the time, like laddering spreads, but would you ladder the spread with Tennessee all the way up in this game from like 14 to 20 something?
I'm notorious for laddering our spreads up to 19.5. It didn't play out as well for me last year as it did the year before, 2 seasons before with Hendon. Still worked fairly well with Joe. Didn't work that well with the volleyball player. Because we were either heavy favorites to start the year against the junior high teams,
right,
or we had tight spreads against, healthier competition once the conference schedule started. So didn't do it as much last year, but yeah, I'm going to run this up to 19.5. Tennessee minus 19.5.
I'm seeing the alt spread all the way up to 26.5 plus 320 on my book. When you take it all the way up to 3 scores or 4 scores?
I don't, only because it's week 1, and I think as proficient as Joey is, because during this whole quarterback thing, the thing that I kept kind of harping on, preaching on, talking about was
right.
Josh Heupel is going to start who he trusts with the football the most. Because the one thing that he despises is turnovers. So a lot of people are making Joey out to have the reputation of turning the football over a lot, which he did. He did throw a lot of interceptions. But again, different offense, different scheme, different coaching. That's apples and, in this case, oranges. So I don't see that happening. But I think we're going to rely more on the run game this opener, and I think that's going to limit possessions. And I think that's going to cause the clock. We're not going to have as many plays. And I still think we go tempo. I still think we go fast. But I also still think that there are a lot of nuances with offensive line, with snap count, with cadence, with receivers being on the same page. I think Miles Kitselman has a good game. Take your pick of
Right.
the running backs. I think Deshaun Bishop probably. I've got him. I bet him on his over yards prop.
Oh, nice.
I think there's just a lot of things that have to get synced up before this offense goes full octane wide open. And I don't think week one is the
Yeah.
game for that.
I would
So,
play it up to 20.5 in the alt spread.
yeah, 19.5 is I'm comfortable with that all day, even 20.5 because that's 3 touchdowns.
Right.
So yeah, but I just as much as I'd love to see it, and I hope I'm wrong on it. We beat them by
Yeah.
30. I can't confidently put money on that because there's just too many things that can not go our way
I agree.
and that not happen. So,
Yeah.
but Syracuse, you ain't winning this game. I know that's gonna happen.
No. Do you have any plays in the Sunday game?
I didn't even look past Saturday, so tell me
Yeah.
tell me what I need to tell you. Who we
First
talking
game
about?
First game at 3, we got Virginia Tech taking on South Carolina. South Carolina laying 7.5. Over under set at 52.5.
Man, going to Blacksburg ain't no joke.
This game's actually in Atlanta.
Never
The
mind, give me
Sunday game.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
if it was in Virginia Tech, I would say yeah. Vandy's got to go to Virginia Tech though.
Yeah.
Diego
In
Poverty's
this
going to get introduced
poverty.
going
Yeah.
to get introduced to. It's going to
Blacksburg.
be inner Sandman. It's going to be exit ass whipping.
Yes. In the other Sunday game in primetime hammer, we got Notre Dame traveling to Miami. Notre Dame laying 2.5 and over under set at 49.5. Thoughts?
I don't think Miami's defense is good enough to win that game, even on the road. I think Nebraska, good God, I think Notre Dame can play bully ball if they want to, and just absolutely just squeeze the life out of Miami. I am
Yeah.
not a fan of Carson Beck, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that he went to Georgia. It's got everything to do with the fact that he is overrated as hell.
Yeah. I think
Mario
he is.
Cristobal, same thing. He's a good coach. He is not a great coach.
I think Carson Beck is probably one of the most overrated quarterbacks that played at Georgia.
I certainly thought so at the time. I definitely think so now. And now that he's gone, of course, Georgia's going to tell you, "Oh yeah, we weren't sold on him." But I legitimately think that's true. Like I think there were a lot of people that just were not sold on him, especially the fact that he had to come in and fill the shoes of their cult heroes. 12th year senior Stetson Bennett.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think there's any love lost there with Georgia fans and Carson Beck, and he's just not that good.
No.
And Miami fan is going to be terribly disappointed at the difference they're going to see between him and Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Cam Ward's a far better quarterback than Carson Beck is.
Oh yeah. In this last game,
and Marcus Freeman is probably one of the better coaches in the country.
It wouldn't surprise me if Freeman coaches circles around Cristobal Sunday night.
That 100% is going to happen because Cristobal's just not. He's just not that guy.
Yeah,
he's
not that
fortunate
guy
in his career to be in good situations.
Right. I agree.
What's the over/under on people at the game? Like 1,200?
Yeah, I'd set the line at 1,200.
I like it. I'll take under on that.
Me too. And Hammer.
The only people worse than Miami fans are UCLA fans.
Yes. Do you think Nico Nation is going to – how many do you set the over/under at in that game with Nico and his family Saturday?
On what stat? I'm sorry.
Over/under 300 of Nico's family members.
Oh, family members, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because this week it's all about family, right? This is like the fifth
Right.
different reason that he gave for leaving Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I would expect of the tens of people that are going to be in the stands for this game, I would expect at least 30% of them to be somewhat related to Nico, either through, blood, marriage, um, begging for money. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went to elementary school together. Remember me, homie? Won't you let me hold $1? Probably of the tens of people that'll be there, I'd say 30% of them are going to claim Nico in some form or fashion.
Right. In Hammer, in this last game on Labor Day, we got TCU traveling to Chapel Hill. Chapel Bill's debut. TCU laying 3.5 and over under set at 56.5. I haven't placed it yet, but I like TCU in this game laying the 3.5. Thoughts?
I do like TCU in the game. I'm not sold on this Belichick experiment that's about to happen. I think it's more publicity than it is legitimate for North Carolina, and they lost their bell cow, or O'Marion Hampton is gone, and I just don't know that Belichick is cut out to coach. I know he's dating an 18 to 22-year-old, but I don't know that he's cut out to coach 18 to 22-year-olds. Not sure that they're going to drink the Kool-Aid the way players in the NFL did. So
Yeah.
I just don't see this working out the way folks think it's going to. And I agree with you. I think it starts with TCU in game one.
Yeah. All right, Hammer. We covered most of week one.
Woo, Lord, there's a lot of games, brother.
Yeah. I'm ready
But
to sit back, kick back, and relax and watch week one. A lot of good games.
that's right. That's right. I have negotiated with Mrs. Hammer. She's running down the itinerary for us in Biloxi on Saturday, and I just kind of
Uh
stopped
huh.
her and I said, "Let me just ask you a question, babe." I said, "What would it take? What would I have to do? What would I have to give up, or what price would I have to pay to be able to go to the sport book in Beau Rivage, kick back and watch the Tennessee game in the sport book?" So I don't know much, or don't know how much spa packages at Beau Rivage in Biloxi are,
Yeah.
but I better have a damn good betting Saturday. Is all I got to say, because I'm thinking this is probably going to be the most expensive Tennessee game I've not been to um, in a very long time. So,
Oh wow.
so yeah, I'm hoping
Kind
that
of,
I'll get to
kind of
get to
work the
catch.
deal out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta, let's just say the art of the deal did not apply to this negotiation. So,
That's
but it's
good.
all good. It's all good.
Good man.
We probably would have paid 3 times that to actually be there, which the initial plan was to go, and then
Right.
some other things came up, some other opportunities came up, and this is what we settled on. So my my birthday is Sunday, so we're
Oh
taking this
nice.
trip. We always take a little trip for my birthday. We're
Happy
only a
early
month apart.
birthday.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. But her birthday is July 31st, so we always take a
Gotcha.
trip. My birthday, because it always falls Labor Day weekend.
Right.
Long weekend, great time to go. Whatever. Went to Vegas last year, and kind of wanted to do
Nice.
that again this year, but we settled on a compromise of Park Beach and Park Casino. So,
I like Biloxi. It's a fun time. I've been about 5 or 6 times.
well, I have to pick your brain later about where I need to eat, and what I need to see, because
Okay.
I like to get out, and eating is my big thing. Like, I'm
Yes.
anywhere near water, then I gotta have my healthy dose of seafood.
There you go.
I know there's a lot of historical things down there, which I'm kind of I'm kind
Right.
of a history nerd in the sense of I mean, yeah, sure, it's cool to read about it, whatever. But if I go see it and touch it, and, kind of experience it,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I enjoy doing that. So we're trying to
For
plan
sure.
out something to keep us busy, but yeah, it's not going to be a typical Saturday. Sit down and be a couch vegetable for 11 hours. But I'll try to catch as many of these as I can, and
Yeah.
I'll certainly tweet some stuff out as some of these plays start unfolding and all for us. So.
That's good.
Well, all right, my friend. Great job as always. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your
You too.
time. I appreciate your insight and sharing your betting slips and your thoughts with us on this. Hopefully, we just have to get a wheelbarrow to rake in all this money that we're going to win this
Yes.
weekend, and
Let's hope so.
hopefully, our boys will take care of business in Atlanta over the fighting Franny Fruits.
Yeah. I do want to say one more thing. I do give Syracuse coach credit for praising our team, how good we are and stuff. But come game time, friend Brown, you're gonna get your butt kicked.
That's right. That's right. Appreciate all the kind words that you shared, and
Yep.
I believe probably some of that was coach speak, but I also genuinely
Right.
believe. I mean, at week 2, I'll be pulling for Fran Brown
Yeah.
because I think he's a great guy, great coach. He is kind of one of those guys that's no nonsense, and he wants to do things the right way, and I respect that. I don't care who
Right.
you are. So I can be a fan of Fran and wish Syracuse's program well, but that'll start
Right.
week 2.
Yeah. All right,
So
Hammer. Good breaking down the games with you, man. Really
always a
enjoyed it.
pleasure. Look forward to doing it again next week. And if we can fit all of our money on the screen, we'll share that too.
All right. Have a good night.
See you, brother.